So, guys, welcome to this stream today. And today we are going to talk about something important, and that is nothing but three things that you need to focus on understanding the most important part of your communication journey, and that is nothing but your thought process. Now, what is the importance of thought process when it comes to learning any language in your life? Now, there are few things that I'll tell you here. When we try to communicate with any person at that time, the most essential part is to understand the situation first. You need to focus on your listening skills also. And whenever we learn this particular skill at that time, see, when we learn this particular language, what happens exactly in our life? We learn in an integrated manner. This is not something that you will just focus on writing only, you will focus on reading only. Not like that. Whenever we discuss certain things with people, our mind learns all these things in an integrated manner. Whenever you are reading something, your mind will automatically understand whether you are writing something in a better way or not. Your mind will also observe these things. Whenever you are just speaking with someone, you are listening at the same time as well. So these skills are used automatically in your life and you learn them in an integrated manner. This is the most important thing. And I'm going to share something amazing for those people who are not yet in the 4-week community. I would give you the surprise today at the ending of the session. So don't forget to watch this stream at the end, right? Because I have shared something amazing there. And according to that, you are going to understand something wonderful. So let's talk about what we can do to just install this particular habit in our mind, and we can easily improve our thought process by following three simple things. First, here I would suggest you need to focus on understanding the core concepts of English grammar. First, you need to understand that it is essential to at least learn some of the grammatical topics. Now, this is the major issue with those people who consider themselves at intermediate and advanced level. It means that they feel that they are able to understand, but actually they are not able to understand. You must be thinking, sir, how is it possible? Well, it is the same situation with most of the people today. When they try to understand couple of things at that time, what exactly happens? They believe that, sir, I'm able to understand everything. There is no issue in that particular case. They also believe that when they try to communicate with people, they are easily able to speak at least for 2 to 3 minutes. They are comfortable enough when it comes to speaking with any person in their life, let's say in the beginning, just for 2 to 3 minutes and not more than that. And what exactly happens after this 2 to 3 minutes? They start fumbling. They feel that they are not able to understand how to construct different sentences. They feel that they have no source of vocabulary to use those verbs or those words in order to make those meaningful sentences. And they start fumbling as well. They feel nervous as well. And in frustration, they automatically stop speaking and they feel discouraged about it. Now, what is the reason? What is the core reason behind it? Well, you haven't worked well on your language skills. If you just ask any person who is a wonderful speaker in English, you will be able to understand that these people have practiced a lot. If you practice a lot in your life in the proper direction, you will be able to understand similar things in your life. And that's why I recommend you to be here in the part of this 4-week community where we practice at least 4 times a week with like-minded people. See, I was in such a situation when I was in my primary school and my secondary school, even in my engineering life also. I did not have that environment where I could speak with people, I could discuss certain things and I could improve my communication skills. I used to focus on my own understandings that yes, if I want to give a presentation in this particular competition, I need to practice in front of mirror. I need to see how I am performing. And in that particular way, I tried multiple things and then I was able to develop these things. But honestly, people are not doing this much things in their life. People are trying to improve themselves, but somewhere they are not able to understand. So the first thing to improve your thought processes, you need to understand where exactly your language skills are. For that purpose, what you need to do, you can just understand if you go through any specific email that you have received, right? Go to any specific email and try to understand couple of things. Whenever you will read that complete email at that time, are you able to understand the function of each and every word in that particular email? That level of understanding the functions of different words in that complete statement will define your present level of understanding. If you agree, type it in the comment box. I want to know this thing from you because this exactly works in this particular way. I'll show one more thing here. I told you this particular thing regarding email here. Okay. Whenever we try to understand about certain things here, you will be able to get clarity that it's not only about understanding the email. It's all about understanding your reading skills also. When you try to read something, what exactly you need to understand? We need to focus on getting clarity of certain things. And those things are nothing but try to get understanding that yes, I am trying to read this particular line and I'm able to understand the formation also. You need to focus on understanding the formation, and automatically you will be in a position to get clarity of certain things. And those things are nothing but you will be able to understand that yes, whatever you are reading, your mind is automatically focusing on the formation. Let's say it's a simple present tense. If you understand that that simple present tense is already there, your mind will automatically get clarity according to the topic or according to the context that you are reading. Most of the people, they face difficulties in terms of understanding things. They just believe that according to the words they already know, they believe that they are getting complete clarity. And honestly, that's not the complete understanding. That is your partial understanding. If you are the victim of partial understanding, then you are facing lots of challenges in terms of structuring your thought process. So remember that you need to work on your language skills. This is the most important thing. If you have attended my 5-day bootcamp, that's totally fine, right? But if you could not take action, I'll tell you few things here itself, and exactly that has happened with you. And if you are at this particular level, you would be able to see the same kind of thing. How you can understand that part? Let me tell you a few things here. Whenever you try to just learn any concept in your life at that time, what happens exactly? You try to learn that concept, you practice for a couple of days, and after that, if you stop practicing or if you stop applying or implementing those concepts in your life at that time, what exactly happens? You automatically feel that I learned something and now I'm not able to recall. Whenever you stay in this kind of situation at that time, the most difficult thing is nothing but to recover your memories. The most important thing is to recover yourself with constant flow of understanding. And that's where consistency plays an important role. I have made the video on consistency also. You can go and check how you can maintain consistency as well, right? So here you need to focus on understanding the same thing is that make sure that whatever you are trying to read or whatever you are trying to listen, the first priority, your mind should be in a position to understand the formation automatically. And see, if you practice this thing for a couple of days, it will become an automated habit. Remember this particular thing. I am telling you something important here. Now, whenever I made this particular statement, I am telling you something important here. My mind automatically understood. I was able to see that consciously that I am making this statement in present continuous tense. And it becomes a wonderful habit. Your mind is so powerful in terms of learning this particular language. You automatically get supported with all those things. I have realized this particular thing in my life, and most of the people, those who are getting trained under this 4-week course, they are also developing the similar habits and they are improving themselves every single day. Most of my students, they get results in just 2 weeks. 2 weeks is a very short span of time, but believe me, it works like magic and it will work with you also. So if you are struggling to improve yourself as a wonderful communicator, you can just understand few of these things, and those things are nothing but you need to focus on getting clarity of your language skills. And that is the first reason where you need to focus on improving yourself, where you will be able to present your thoughts effectively to create the impact on people. That's where you need to understand this first step, and that is nothing but working on your language skills, right? You should be in a position to understand the situation, form the sentences, and understand the meaning. And then you should speak. Most of the people, they just try to speak. If you have seen certain people, they try to speak a lot, but somewhere if you just ask them, are you able to understand it completely? They'll say confidently that they're able to understand. But the fact is, their mind is only focusing on understanding partial things, not all these things. Remember this particular thing. This is one of the most challenging thing that I'm telling you here. Second thing I would like to tell here itself is that, and it is nothing but understanding how to structure your content. I'll tell you few of these things here, and according to that, you will be able to understand. Whenever you face any situation in your life and you want to interact with people at that time, you need to understand the situation as quickly as you can. Remember this particular thing, because your spontaneous response is important. If your boss has asked you something, or if you are just interacting with your colleagues, whatever he is asking, you should be in a position to understand. Are you able to understand the question completely? And you should be in a position to respond to people as well. This is the most important thing. When I was taking one of the interactive practice session with my 4-week members at that time, I just played one game with them. We took one activity, and when I took this particular activity at that time, I strongly told them that you need to focus on understanding the question first, and then you need to reply. I found few of these things, and that's why I decided to give you a session on understanding your thought process, improving your thought process. Most of the people, when I asked them a question, they were thinking first. Their mind automatically went in thinking mode. And they decided they were automatic. It was happening automatically. It was not something they were doing intentionally, but it was happening automatically. Second thing, some of the people were able to respond immediately because they focused on understanding the question. And some of the people, whenever they started basically with a specific answer. Whatever, for example, if I ask you, could you please tell me about your educational journey? If I ask this particular question, you will definitely start with, well, my educational journey was amazing. And then you will come up with some of these thoughts. So some people started answering immediately, but after starting those few sentences, one or two sentences, they automatically started fumbling. They automatically started using fillers. So why does it happen? Because your thought process is not ready to respond to that particular question. So remember that whenever you understand question properly at that time, your mind focuses on structuring the content. And that is where you need to understand. And that's why you need to be conscious enough. See, if I ask you that there are few things that you need to work on, and according to those things, you will be able to perform better. Now, I'm telling you about few things. So if there are four things that you need to work on, and if two things are very well done by you, if you have practiced two things very, very well, and remaining two things are not done in that particular efficiency, you will not be able to perform better. Remember this particular thing. The same thing happens with most of the people. They have good voice quality. They really have wonderful voice quality, right? Most of the time I see people in my 4-week community, some of them have an amazing voice. The pitch in their voice, the loudness in their voice. I love that particular thing. I wish I would have that particular thing. But the thing is that apart from their voice quality, whenever they try to speak at that time, they use fillers most of the time. And the reason people use fillers like something like that, they always are confused with their state of mind and thought process, right? So if you just work on the first thing, that is nothing but educating yourself with certain grammatical topics that you need to understand, you will be able to take care of your language skills. Whenever you will start understanding the situation, that is the second step I'm telling you, you need to structure your content before speaking on a specific topic. If you are just focusing on the real life conversation at that time, understand people first. Have some patience. Whenever you have some patience at that time, you listen people carefully. You automatically respect whatever someone is telling. Whenever you respect someone, whatever the person is asking or whatever the person is telling you, you automatically understand that thing consciously, and then you can just come up with whatever you want to say. Some people have very bad habit of interrupting in between because of their ego, because of their issues, or because of their some kind of exaggeration or overconfidence. They feel that I know everything and the person is not telling me correct. If you have this kind of mindset at that time, you seriously need to focus on understanding first. You improve your listening skills. See, when we try to understand about listening skills at that time, the most essential thing that you need to develop is nothing but you need to be a patient listener. See, if you be a patient listener, then it will be a wonderful thing for you. Otherwise, everything will be fed up. Everything will be the situation where the person you are interacting with will be fed up easily and you will lose that conversation. There won't be any meaning to whatever the time or whatever the conversation that you were involved in. So remember that, focus on understanding first, focus on listening carefully. The more you focus on getting the clear input to your mind gives you enough support to interact with people with amazing influence. Remember this particular thing. The same thing is applicable to whenever you just to the same thing whenever you just reply to different people. Remember this particular thing. You may be in any process, you may be in meeting, you may be in an interview, you may be anywhere. Whenever you are discussing with people at that time, remember that, have some patience, focus on listening patiently, understand more, and then try to speak with people. That's why it is always said that God has given one mouth and two ears. What is the reason behind it? We need to listen more and speak less. The more you listen, you understand exactly. And when you try to respond to people, you get clarity about understanding the same thing. See, I apply this thing each and every time whenever I meet different people in my bootcamp. All right. And whenever I clear queries of my students in my 4-week course also. This is where you need to understand. This is one of the brilliant skill that you need to develop in terms of your communication skill and your thought process as well. Okay. Now, third one is nothing but when we try to understand about the importance of our thought process at that time, the core thing here you need to understand is, if I ask you about the same thing, I always try to tell you the difference between your native language and English. Whenever you are discussing with someone in your native language, your mind supports everything to you, isn't it? Your mind also understands the situation first and then you reply. It never happens that you will take lots of time to understand and then you will just respond to people. It will never happen like that. But the biggest thing here itself is that you need to understand that if you are able to do this thing automatically when it comes to your native language, why doesn't it happen when you just try to apply the same thing when it comes to English? What is that bigger difference between both of these things? Well, it is important that you need to understand you have tried so many situations in your life again and again. Reply yes in the comment box if you are able to understand this particular thing. Suppose if you just consider a common situation and you repeated that situation each and every time whenever you face that situation regarding your native language, it was a wonderful thing. It was an easier thing for you. Second thing I would tell you here itself is that instead of using the same thing, whenever you try to interact with same people in your life, see, if I just give you the number of people that you connect with or you interact with in your life, according to your workplace, there are hardly 15-20 people that you interact with. According to your friends and family members, again, I would say 10 to 15 people that you interact with. So our life is completely surrounded by people where we connect with the same set of people, we connect with same set of situations, and we always use the same set of sentences. But the tragedy is we always prefer our native language when it comes to our normal communication each and every time. That's why our thought process gets stronger and stronger every single day in our native language and not in English. That's why speaking English with multiple people, educating yourself, structuring the content is important. Remember this particular thing, right? Whenever we understand about this thing at the time, you need to get clarity that if I am just trying to use these sentences at that time, is it the same sentence that I'm repeating again and again in my life? You need to understand this thing consciously. Most of the people, they speak, but they fail to understand this thing consciously. Remember, whenever you try to understand, this is the third point that I'm telling you in terms of improving your thought process. Just make a note. See, whenever you spend 10 minutes to retrospect some things, whenever you spend 10 minutes with you, that I interacted with one of the person today and let me recall how was that particular discussion, how was that conversation. Whenever you try to understand these things at that time, your mind keeps telling you, until and unless you have language skills, until and unless you have good command on the functional grammar, you will be in a position to understand few of these things. That yes, now I'm able to understand this particular thing. That person asked me this particular question and I was able to understand. But somewhere people always feel that they were able to respond. They had lots of things to share. But because of certain things, because of their thought process and poor sentence construction, they were not able to speak more in that particular discussion or in that particular meeting. And after that particular discussion, what happens with you? You regret that I could speak more. But because of certain issues, I could not. Why happened? Why did this happen with you? The reason is so simple. Because you did not structure your content. So I always recommend you, whenever you want to speak on any topic at that time, remember that you need to structure your content well. Focus on the introduction part, then focus on the middle part. That is nothing but you can involve some of the examples and some experience, whatever you want to share. After that experience, you can just come up to the conclusion of that particular topic. And whenever you share that particular conclusion at that time, you make your audience happy because you have given some of the value to them. So you remember, whenever you just try to speak with people at that time, or whenever you are speaking in any specific meeting, focus on understanding. You need to focus on structuring the content. First, you need to understand the introduction part of that particular thing. You may start with questions. Remember this particular thing. When you start anything with questions at that time, it always adds value to your understanding. Remember this particular part. All right. So these are these things that you need to focus on getting clarity of improving your thought process. First, work on your language skills. You may already have some knowledge. I do not deny that thing. But I strongly recommend you to understand that you need to focus on the most useful sentences and the structures in your life. You can start from the 5-day bootcamp as well as you can start from any week, say first or second week of my 4-week English grammar mastery course. Remember that We try to do lots of things in terms of improving our English language, communication skills, and public speaking ability. But somewhere people have the mindset that they are not able to, they are not, instead of able to, I would say they are not ready to invest in themselves. And if you have invested for yourself, why don't you take action because of whatever that you are paying to the person? Remember this particular thing. See, remember one thing. I work on results of my students. Few of my students in the community, they were able to get 120% hike in their salary. That's why you need to be here in this particular community. You are getting the practice sessions every single week. You are discussing with like-minded people. You are getting some valuable tricks and techniques to improve yourself. And the most essential thing is, I work on the personal feedback of each and every person. So there is a systematic framework. I would recommend you to start this particular course immediately. And I'll give you one thing that I told you here, that how you can go ahead with one of the surprise here. So ultimately, if you just understand this particular thing, you can go to this particular application, whatever the link that it is available for Android and iOS. You can go to that application, click on the 4-week English grammar mastery course, and you will be able to see the option to pay in installments. Once you go there, you will be able to understand that there are 2 installments that you can just go ahead. And remember, there is certification also available for this particular course. So you can just go for first installment now if you are running out of the budget, and you can pay the second installment later. You will get the same discount code here itself. You will get the same price here, whatever that I have promised. Because I was getting lots of requests from the people, and I have a clear intention that I should not focus on just earning the money. My intention is not that particular thing. So the first installment can be paid, and according to that, you can become the part of this amazing community. So don't forget to check out the same thing. Download the application first. Go through some of the free videos that I have shared. If you really like that particular thing, I would recommend you to be the part of this community, because people are understanding these things here. And it's all about taking actions every single day. You need to be assured that yes, whatever that I'm doing it for something amazing in my life. That's the brilliant part that you need to understand. Along with this particular thing, when you try to understand certain things, it's important that you are trying to apply those things also. The moment you try to apply these things as well, you get clarity that yes, now I'm improving every single day. I believe in getting results. It's not something that you are being a member and you are just leaving it as it is. No, not like that. Your commitment plays an important role here. And on the basis of your commitment, you get results every single day. And I believe that the chain of these results that you get every single day, the chain of these small events makes you a great speaker in your life. So many people are changing their life. I want you to be ready to change your life as well. Don't stay at the same place. See, we earn enough amount of money, but we always forget to invest in our own skill set. And remember, the industry is driven by skill set only. Those people who have amazing skill sets. And remember, if you have good communication skills, so many opportunities will knock your door. But if you are just waiting for one thing, that let the opportunity come and then I'll try to improve myself, you are in the wrong way. Remember one thing, that if you have the correct direction to go ahead, if you are in the perfect direction, and if you are associated with the right set of people, remember that the chances of getting growth in your life are always on the higher side. And most of my students, after attending just 2 weeks of this course and practicing for several weeks, they got clarity that now they are in a position to interact with their seniors. They are in a position to crack interviews, and they are able to understand that how they need to improve themselves every single day. Because the association matters a lot. Whenever I stay in touch with my mentor who helped me to launch my courses and everything, I feel encouraged every single time. And that is what I want you to understand, the same kind of thing. My students always give me one feedback at the ending of the session, whenever I visit the breakout rooms and everything. Even if they are exhausted, see, all the professionals are there. They are working in different industries. Even if these members are completely exhausted, they'll connect at 8:30 p.m. in the evening. And whenever we have that interaction at that time, there will be some amazing, there will be different source of energy that we generate. And because of that, even if we discuss from 8:30 p.m. to 10 p.m., the same energy will be there with all the people. This is what I want you to understand. This is the environment that you need. And according to this environment, you are going to be successful enough in your life. So remember that you need to work on your language skills, whatever the grammatical topics that you need, focus on them very, very well. Second thing, whenever you start applying all those concepts at that time, you need to focus on understanding the situation. Be a patient listener. Listen first and then respond to people. Don't react. If you just try reacting on whatever you feel, it is not going to make you a great speaker. Try to understand that if the person you are trying to interact with, if you are not able to understand the same situation, remember that you just need to leave the situation. No extra headache at all. Right? Remember this particular thing. And third one, whenever you try to speak on a topic in a meeting or anywhere else at that time, focus on structuring your content in three ways. First, focus on the introduction of that particular part. Second, try to understand to explain that particular topic with any example or any experience that you have where you applied that particular thing. And according to that, you can just come to the conclusion part of your content, and it will be easier for you to end up whatever you are going to present yourself. Right? And make sure that this is one of the pro tip that I'm giving you before ending the stream. Ask questions to people. If you just start the topic and if you ask questions to people, you automatically engage people, and that is the most important thing. Try this thing and let me know in the comment box whether it is working for you or not. Don't forget to install the application from Play Store and iOS Store as well. And whatever that I have shared regarding the installment plans, do check out if you're running short of money, but be there in this amazing community if you want to change yourself and achieve different achievements in your life. Remember this particular thing. So take care of yourself and take care of your family. I will see you in the next live.